we got our next project. If you guys don't know what these are, they're Yetter row cleaners, air powered row cleaners. So pretty much it is the exact same design as these ones that we already have on the planter already. You can see they're pretty much just the exact same thing. However, the difference is these ones, you can tell they got this cylinder right here. As you see how they all got cylinders, because they are air powered. So these hoses are ran, you put a connector in and you can pump air through these. So they are air powered cylinders for downforce. Now, some of you might be asking, why would you want something like this on a planter like this and for the acres that we farm? Well, these are one of those things where spend the money, but it's not like a necessity. You can adjust the pressure on these so that you can adjust them from the cab, so you can make them more rigid if you want to. You could put a higher PSI on it / downforce, which just helps it keep it steady and not float over stuff. The lower pressure you go, the more it's gonna float over stuff, which you don't want to have a so low PSI that floats over the stuff that you want to push them out of the way, like rip balls, maybe even like rocks or something like that. That's the stuff that you want it to stay in the ground and push it. And if you have these at too low PSI, they're just gonna float right over the top. It's gonna hurt your row unit, and you're gonna have a lot worse of a day if you have it at too low of a PSI. So we got the 8 rows that already have these cylinders on them all on. We've already got them off the pallet, so those 8 are all done. We still have yet to do the 4 that I was talking about last night. Those 4 have the brackets for the cylinders, so we just got the cylinders alone to put on there, because then that just works just fine. All we did was we just put this unit on. We didn't add on or take off the cylinder or anything like that. So all it was were three bolts right here, and right here. It comes off, then you put the other one, the new one, on, and then you just bolt those 3 bolts, and that's all there is to it. They're really heavy, and there's a lot of pitching points, and these ones are fairly sharp. We got our bibs on, so that helps, so it doesn't go into our leg and cut us, because that wouldn't be very fun. So they're set up exactly how these are, only these have those cylinders on them. Well, we're taking a quick little detour in our plans because we're changing the way that these wheels are set. So if you notice, well, we'll just say this, these are the left ones. So the left ones are further ahead than the right ones. Well, normally that side, all these are the same. They're all set like this, and that side's right. But how we had these ones set up, for the right side we would have this wheel being ahead of this wheel, but for the left side, or this side, we would have this wheel ahead of this one. It's not really a hard thing to do, because all there is just these 2 bolts, and since this is the right side, this one would go behind. So this wheel is gonna go in this further back hole, and that wheel is gonna go further. It's gonna go in the front one. Well, I'm pretty dirty, I'd say. So we got these, our rollers or wheels that were on those settings swapped out, and so now we got the wheels that were on our old brackets onto these. All we have to do now for the rest of the rows is just run the lines to them to keep to actually run the air through the cylinders, and then after that it's getting the control box and stuff like that mounted up into the tractor next after that. But the next step is we got to put in the rest of the hydraulic cylinders, because as you can see, these have actually already got the brackets in them. So you can see they've already got like the handle here, they've got the main bracket here, and then the little pinhole right there. Whoa, hey, it is the next day. I never really did a proper segment into well, today I had to go in the house to grab the nuts and washers for the U-bolts that I was talking about a couple days ago, for these U-bolts that just, again, they just slide like that up under there. But we don't know what we're gonna do with this part though, because on the side of this tank it says to loosen this drain valve weekly for any extra condensation after this is running. That's just how it's just usually how all the air compressors are. They just build a condensation, but you don't always have to drain them every time. This one you do, well, weekly. Drain this out now, it probably would hit this or get really close. So we don't know if we need to put like some metal shim under there, or put like a metal washer or a few washers up under there to act as shims to raise it up a little bit. But you don't have a lot of playroom with this. There's not a lot of room between the top of this and what's left of the threads after that when you stick it through it. So I don't know. You don't know what's gonna do, but it does fit. At least on one side. I don't know about both. I think if it fits one, it should fit the other. That's usually how it goes. You still haven't put the rest of the cylinders on the 4 rows yet, or put these cylinders on, so they're just like the same cylinders as what's on the rest of these. It's just these have 90-degree points where you put in the hoses, and these they're just sticking straight up, which doesn't make a difference. I think they just probably made that so maybe it's a little bit slimmer when it's on the row. So I'm not too sure, but we got to get pins for it, because for whatever reason they did not come with pins when we got them. There was no pins in the box or boxes where these were in. So we got to get our own pins, but they're not a special part number pin or anything. They're just a regular pin with a regular little cotter pin on it. So now the fun part. Now we got to take that unit and put it back onto that unit. It's kind of fun to do though, because when you get to a certain point, when you get about 3 inches away from that deck, you kind of just gotta hammer it and hope that you don't either spin out or you get off track and you don't get correct center of it, which has happened to us more times than I'd ever want it to happen to us. I'll safe to say that. Well, we were able to hit the moving bomb in the shop without it detonating. So that's a start. But we're not really going to change the oil on it because we only put 10 hours on it last year. And we found the leaking problem pretty quickly. All it was is, well, not really all it was, but there's a big hole in the gas line. I'm gonna say mice maybe did it, but just a thought. Well, we're calling it quits for the day anyway. So we got the air compressor mounted up on there. We got the U-bolts on. Cinch these nuts up nice and tight. So hopefully shouldn't go anywhere. But we didn't think that putting washers in there was a good idea. So it is still extremely tight up under there. So we're not too sure if you got to pull that all the way out when you go to drain it or not. If you have to pull it all the way out, we got to figure out some way to make like shims or something so it is up high enough to get that out for it to drain. But we got to figure that out. But we were just kind of messing with some of the wiring for the power for the actual compressor, because the pump doesn't obviously run off of air. It just pumps the air. There's no rain in the next 10 days for forecast, so I think as soon as we get this whole setup done, I think we might be hitting the field. So make sure you guys stay tuned for those videos. I hope those videos are going to turn out really good for you guys. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. You know, it's the end of the day, the end of the video, so I figured, I might as well just go ride since we've gotten enough done for the day. And I don't know what got into me, but I got a little bit wet. Now I gotta go take a shower. My socks are wet, my feet are wet, my whole body's pretty much wet besides my head because I had a helmet on. So you gotta have fun sometimes, right?